So we're going to talk about how you can maintain an ongoing relationship with your customers and how you can utilize that to help you grow your practice. We have to strive for patient loyalty today. And in order to get the patient to be loyal to us, to purchase from us again, to refer friends and family members to us, we have to think about creating an incredible customer experience. Quality patient care is of paramount importance, of course. Then we have to think about how do we go about creating an experience. And here's a statistic that suggests that 6 of the 10 top things that drive loyalty from a patient are not related to cost, and they're not related to clinical quality. They're related to the experience the patient has when they're in the practice. So consumer experience is the new yardstick. Here's what Toby Cosgrove from Cleveland Clinic said. Now, patients judge us the same way they would a restaurant or a hotel, on the experience they have while they're with us. We really have to address the quality of the experience because patients expect it. I love this one. Can you imagine if you had to send United Airlines an email requesting if you could find out what time the available flights were? That's what we're doing today with our appointment setting process. I think we can do better. I think the consumer expects better, because what's going on is the consumer does not separate what they want from their healthcare experience from what they're getting from Starbucks or Nordstrom's or Apple. They want that same quality experience, and that's what we have to think about. If you want to achieve loyalty from your patients, there's 4 keys to it. The first one is you really have to think about your website. Your website has to be transparent, and it has to be transparent along 4 key parameters. One is pricing. You have to find a way to address price on your website in a way that you're comfortable doing. Secondly, your website has to be compatible, meaning it has to be mobile friendly. Everyone is using a mobile device today, even our patient population. Reviews have to be part of your website experience. And then availability. Availability of your services to the patient in a timely fashion. Second one is convenient access. Certainly, expanded capacity is what patients are looking for today. What do I mean by expanded capacity? Some evening and some weekend hours. That's what patients want today. Convenient sites, meaning good parking, good signage, easy to get in and out of. Those are things that also create a great customer experience. Online scheduling. We don't have to be there today, but I want all of us to think about how we can get to a point where our patients are able to schedule appointments with us online in real time. I think that's critical to the patient experience. And then virtual channels. What do I mean by virtual channels? That patient wants to have access to us via text, via email, and again, as much as possible in real time. That helps to create the patient experience. The third thing, of course, is what happens when the patient is actually in front of us. That's the positive encounter that our customer's looking for. Again, is the facility navigable? No wait visits. You know, we used to be very, very proud of ourselves when we had a 3-week wait time, right, for an appointment. Now, research indicates that if that patient has to wait 3 weeks to see us, they're probably going to go somewhere else. Respectful interactions. You know, the patient's journey, the patient wants to feel like they're maintaining control, and they want to feel like they're part of the process. And that's an important part of engagement as well. And then lastly, easy payment. Do we make it easy for them to pay for their hearing aids? Care Credit, again, a great example of a way you can help the patient create solutions. Durable relationship. One of the most important things I want us to think about is how do we maintain an ongoing relationship with that patient after we see them, and perhaps even before they become our patient and purchase hearing aids. Information continuity, meaning we have to be regularly communicating with our patients via email, via direct mail. We have to continue to market to them, continue to call on them to make sure they know we're here for you. We're here for you and we care. Personalization. Make sure that if you're seeing a patient, you know who they are and what they're about. And then lastly, comprehensive services. Your patients want to know that they can get all of their hearing care needs from you. And that includes, obviously, devices, accessories, connectivity, and so on. So those are the 4 keys to patient loyalty. Let's talk a little bit about email marketing, right? So the poster child for email marketing is Amazon. Amazon doesn't do direct mail. They don't advertise in the newspaper. You don't see them on TV. Why? Because they don't need to market that way. They market by sending us emails, right? What happens? We purchase from them. They know what we like, and then they start to send us emails about things that we might be interested in. They create relevance. They help us figure out what we want to buy. Well, we can do the same thing for our customers. We can start to think about what kind of messaging we want to send to our customers based on who they are and how we came into contact with them in our practice. So the first thing I want you to visualize is I want you to think about your marketing strategy as being important to helping you create a funnel of people's contact information and email addresses. And then what you want to start to do is segment those people based on who they are. And I'll give you a really simple example. Take 2 types of patients, a tested not sold patient and a tested not candidate patient, right? Someone you tested who either doesn't have a hearing loss or has a hearing loss that's too mild for amplification. If you think about those 2 patients, those 2 people, if you will, they want to hear different things from you. So if you're going to email market to the patient not sold, what you're going to want to talk to them about is you're going to want to advertise new technology. You might want to talk about some of the comorbidity stuff. The other thing you might want to talk to them about is whenever a patient finally decides to do something about their hearing, they put the hearing aids on, they're amazed, they're delighted, changes their lives, and invariably, what do they say? I wish I had done it sooner. I would be sending the tested not sold patients emails that have those types of testimonials in them because that's relevant to them. Now, the tested not a candidate patient, they don't want to hear about technology, don't need it. They don't want to hear about comorbidity because you're going to scare them to death. What do they want to hear? Hearing conservation. How to preserve the good hearing that they have. The other opportunity you have with the tested not a candidate patient is to talk to them about the fact you have great hearing, you want to preserve it, you also want to make sure that your friends and family members are getting the hearing care that they need. So segmented marketing, talking to the customer based on what's relevant for him or her. Sending the newsletter, that monthly or quarterly newsletter that we all do, is great. There's nothing wrong with it. What we want to start to do is achieve the next level of sophistication and then start to change our messaging based on who the patient is. It is absolutely essential today that you have online reviews. And if you look, it says that 86% of people 55 and over are using online reviews to make decisions about where they purchase. 86%. That's a phenomenal number. So online reviews are absolutely essential. Now, we talked about creating loyalty. We talked about giving the patient what's relevant to him or her. Well, how can we know what our customers, prospects, and non-buyers are thinking? How can we know what they want? Well, we can ask them. We can survey them. Let me ask you this. How many of you regularly do surveys? Raise your hand. Okay, so 3 people. Here's why most of us don't do surveys. We don't do surveys because we think they're hard. We can't get people to finish them. We don't want to hear the bad news. But what's important is we've got to start to ask the customer, what is it you want? What's important to you? And one of the most important questions we can ask the customer, and indeed should ask them, is the following. On a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, how likely are you to recommend our company to a friend or family member? That question is called the Net Promoter question. And there's been a ton of research done on Net Promoter Score, and it has high correlation to the person's likelihood to buy again and the person's likelihood to refer a friend or family member. If someone scores your practice at a 9 or 10, they are very likely to remain loyal to you and to refer friends and family members. Now, if you look at this slide and you say, okay, where is the typical healthcare practice on a Net Promoter Score? Remember, 9 or 10 or 90 and 100 if the scale is 1 to 100, look at healthcare. On average, it's at 17. Now, we're certainly better than Comcast, which is -3, meaning people would go out of their way to tell people, run, don't go there, right? -3. But we have a ways to go versus Amazon at 64, Apple at 72, and so on. So we've got to ask our customers, what is it that you want? And how likely, based on what we've done for you, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or family member? As I said, here's why people don't survey. Difficult to administer, can't get them to complete them, and then I don't want to hear bad news anyway. So I'm going to sort of advocate for a different approach to surveys, a much simpler approach. First of all, the survey has to be very, very short. 4 or 5 questions max. Not 17, not 3 pages, simple 1-page, 4 or 5 question survey. One of the questions, of course, being that Net Promoter, how likely are you question. The rest of the questions should be pretty open-ended. What did you like? What didn't you like? What could we do differently? Those types of questions. You want to send the survey out via email, perhaps also by postcard, and then you also want to try and call them, not over and over, but at least once, because the key is to get the surveys back. If you make them really short, and then you try at least 2 to 3 ways to get the surveys done, you will get the responses. It is essential in today's world that you ask for referrals, and I know it's not the most comfortable thing in the world to look a patient in the eye and say, can you recommend a friend or family member? But given the cost of marketing today, given how hard it is, to bring patients in, it's essential that we ask for referrals. And I'm going to give you a real simple way to do it. It is clinically essential, clinically necessary that people start to get their hearing screened at age 50. Well, that's a great way to ask for a referral by saying, you know, in our practice, we believe that everyone over the age of 50 should get their hearing screened. Can you recommend 2 or 3 people who could benefit from a free hearing screening? We have many practices within AHA who are doing this, and it has had dramatic effect on their business, and you can see the results. Within 6 to 12 months, practices are getting as many as 9 units per month through the hearing wellness or the patient referral program. So, you know, a lot of the things that we talked about today involve technology, involve perhaps some strategies that you aren't using now. But one of the really cool things about all of that is this technology is allowing us to connect with people on a human level and communicate with them better. And I think that's great. Thanks for your time today.